This is CBC Vancouver News.
Give yourself some grace. You know, we have such high expectations about ourselves, but we're also human and life happens.
Why experts say making strict New Year's resolutions may not be the best approach to reaching your goals. And
if you're looking to go out on New Year's Eve and you're even considering driving, just know transit is free. We want to make sure you get home safely.
Additional buses and extended operating hours. Why TransLink is offering services free of charge this New Year's Eve. Plus, gunfire breaks out in Surrey with 2 shootings in less than 8 hours yesterday. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Janella Hamilton. Tanya is away tonight. 'Tis the season for turkey, treats, and of course, New Year's resolutions. Do you have one? If not, no worries. Experts say sticking to resolutions may be too much pressure after all. Our Zara Premji with more on the approach many are taking this time around.
Setting a goal and keeping it. More difficult than New Year's resolution makers may think.
We start to see some of those, the people who come in just for like the hype of it, those people might start to taper off.
So to avoid that tapering off and feeling guilty about it, the experts have some thoughts.
It's absolutely okay not to have a New Year's resolution. And I feel like there's actually a movement of people not making New Year's resolutions. Give yourself some grace. You know, we have such high expectations about ourselves, but we're also human and life happens.
I think anytime we try to set a hard goal for ourselves, we set expectations that can ultimately just disappoint ourselves.
I change my mind very often, so because of that, I try not to make resolutions because life changes as well, and what you want changes as well. So that's why I think sometimes making a resolution, it's not the best way to go.
But the experts say the goal may not necessarily be the problem, it's just how you set it.
I think that the bigger thing is create a habit that you're excited about and that you can create consistency with all year long.
And who says the beginning of a new year needs to be the starting point?
Maybe we set ourselves up thinking that January 1st is going to roll around and it's automatically going to be easier. So again, I think giving yourself some grace and maybe 6 months to work towards what you really want to have and not expecting these instantaneous results.
Refocusing on what makes us happy is probably a better way to keep those goals going if you want to set them.
But that's not to say come January 1st, you can't set some new intentions. If you do, this fitness coach says,
hell yeah, go you.
There it is!
Zara Premji, CBC News, Vancouver.
Well, whether you keep your resolution or not, we hit the street to find out how people here in Vancouver plan to kickstart the new year.
Patient or be more giving, charitable maybe?
Yeah, be more present in the moment maybe.
Yeah.
Go to the gym.
Giving back more to the people I love and probably be more efficient on my goals.
Maybe not to work as hard or as long hours.
Find a job that I like.
Lose 10 pounds.
Nice.
Gain 10 pounds.
What?
Nice? Yeah.
Not
Go
here.
to the gym.
Here.
Yeah.
Well, my resolution is to try to be more positive this year and look at the bright side.
Look at the bright side.
Yeah.
How about
And I look up, not down.
And if you're looking to take in a fireworks display this New Year's Eve, a reminder, the annual fireworks celebration at Vancouver's Canada Place is once again cancelled this year. But for those wanting to drive to the North Shore, Cypress and Grouse Mountain are both hosting festivities with live music and fireworks displays. And if you plan to set off your own fireworks at home, rules vary between municipalities. Some areas have banned fireworks altogether, while other municipalities require a permit. Metro Vancouver is offering free transit to those ringing in the new year tomorrow. TransLink says all passengers will ride for free from 5 o'clock tomorrow night to 5 o'clock Monday morning. The Transit Authority is also adding more than 30 extra buses to its busiest routes, a night bus that will run into the early morning and is extending hours on SkyTrain and C-Bus services.
Really, the purpose of that is to just make sure that anyone who maybe cost is a barrier, they can get home safely. So if you're looking to go out on New Year's Eve and you're even considering driving, just know transit is free. We want to make sure you get home safely.
Mountain says anyone who begins their trips before 5 o'clock will need to tap out their Compass card to ensure the correct fare is charged. He also says extra staff, transit security, and police will be stationed in busier areas. Several other cities are also offering free transit this New Year's Eve, including Victoria, Kamloops, and Prince George. ICBC says on average, 170 people are injured in vehicle collisions every New Year's Eve in BC, and 1 in 5 fatal crashes are caused by impaired drivers. Mounties say 2 people were arrested yesterday after gunfire broke out in Surrey. It happened in 2 separate shootings that happened less than 8 hours apart. The latest just before 9:30 last night in the Fleetwood neighborhood. In a release, police say when they arrived in the 7800 block of 167th Street, they found evidence that indicated there had been a shooting. However, no one was injured. Police say the investigation is still in its early stages and a possible motive for the shooting has not yet been determined. And just hours earlier, around 2 o'clock that afternoon, Surrey RCMP says 2 men were arrested fleeing the scene of another shooting in the Guildford neighborhood near 101st Avenue and 156th Street. Mounties do not believe the 2 incidents are connected. They are asking anyone with information related to either incident to contact them. The Nanaimo and Cedar communities are mourning the death of a 14-year-old boy who died Thursday after the lawnmower he was riding collided with a pickup truck.
He was just a super kind kid. I love him so much, and it's just so unfortunate to lose him.
Parker Amon is being remembered as an avid mountain biker. Hundreds of people have commented on social media posts about Parker, expressing their heartbreak, sending love to the family, and offering to help. In a statement, the teen's father says, "We lost Parker in a tragic accident yesterday, not on his bike. My best friend, son, brother, cousin, grandson, great-grandson, and friend to riders all over the world. You will be missed. Our hearts are shattered." On Thursday, Parker's lawnmower failed to stop at an intersection in Cedar, colliding with a pickup truck. The 45-year-old driver remained on the scene. Police say drugs and alcohol have been ruled out, and the roads were wet at the time of the crash. Meteorologists say BC is breaking weather records for an unusually warm winter. Multiple temperature records were broken across the south coast today, including here in Metro Vancouver, where temperatures surpassed the previous daytime high record set in 1998. Environment Canada says a high-pressure ridge over the province, combined with El Niño, is causing unseasonable weather. But starting next week, temperatures are expected to drop. Meteorologists estimate by mid-January, temperatures across the province should be near seasonal norms. All right, it is time now to take a look at our forecast. Let's begin with the current temperatures around the different areas in the province. Beginning up in Dease Lake, it's going to be quite chilly up there. As well in Fort St. John, -5 right now. 3 in Prince George, 5 in Williams Lake, and currently 9 degrees here in Vancouver. Moving into tomorrow's forecast, Dease Lake will see a -7, mainly cloudy with some sun. Fort St. John, or Fort Nelson rather, -3 tomorrow. Prince George sitting at 0 for tomorrow. And Whistler will be mostly cloudy with a high of 5 for tomorrow. Lots of precipitation on the island. Victoria is going to see a high of 10 with a mix of sun, cloud, and rain. And Kelowna will be sitting at a high of 3 for tomorrow. And here in Vancouver tomorrow, 10 degrees with that precipitation throughout the day. Monday, 7 degrees is our high. Of course, that is New Year's Day, and that's moving into Tuesday for 8 degrees as our high, and the sun will eventually poke its head out on Wednesday. Coming up, as Israeli forces push forward, they are now saying they have a new war aim for southern Gaza. We'll have that story after the break. To international news now, Israeli forces pushed further into central and southern Gaza today. Israel says it destroyed a tunnel complex in Gaza City and raided Hamas and Islamic Jihad posts to the south. The ground operations were backed up by airstrikes. Gaza authorities are reporting 165 deaths in 24 hours. It comes a day after South Africa filed a case at the World Court accusing Israel of crimes of genocide. Officials in Gaza say the number killed since Israel's campaign began is now approaching 21,700. Israel also put forward a new war aim for southern Gaza today. Benjamin Netanyahu said the border between Gaza and Egypt must remain under Israeli control. The Ukraine war witnessed more attacks today. Russian airstrikes reportedly wounded 14 people in eastern Ukraine's Kharkiv. It came just hours after Russian officials and Ukrainian airstrikes had killed 18 people in the border region. Russia's emergencies ministry released video saying more than 100 were wounded. Russian media report residences, a mall and an outdoor skating rink were hit. It all came a day after 39 people died in Russian strikes across Ukraine. This year, many Canadian households struggled with affordability, from high interest rates to the rising cost of living. So what's the economic outlook for 2024? Peter Armstrong shows us 4 factors that may affect your spending power.
You don't have to be an economist to know how tough a year 2023 was.
Renters in Canada have never had it so bad, and it could get even worse.
More Canadians than ever before are having to turn to food banks to get by.
The question, though, isn't what happened in 2023. The question on everyone's mind is where things go from here. So here are 4 things to watch in 2024. For the last 18 months, the single dominating feature on the economic landscape has been the fight to rein in inflation. Inflation peaked last summer at 8.1%. Since then, it has slowly moved back to the Bank of Canada's target window. Now, reasonable people can and will disagree on precisely why inflation's come back under control. Was it the Bank of Canada's aggressive cycle of hiking interest rates? Was it global forces pulling down the prices of stuff like gasoline? Probably a bit of both. What we do know is how that change will work its way into the economy. The Bank of Canada has spent the last 18 months pushing interest rates relentlessly higher. In March of 2022, rates were at a mere 0.25%. Then they started to rise, slowly, then quickly. In its last decision of 2023, the Bank of Canada left rates unchanged, but reviewed the most recent economic data.
We're at that point, have we done enough? Maybe yes, maybe no. I think increasingly the conditions are suggesting that monetary policy is working.
That may not sound like much, but in central banker speak, that's a big shift. The bank is saying interest rates have done their job, and that sets up a big change heading into the new year.
We think that the Bank of Canada starts cutting rates in April and continues to cut rates at each subsequent meeting thereafter for the rest of the year.
Forecasts from Desjardins show the Bank of Canada's key overnight lending rate should fall all the way to 3.5% by the end of the year and 2.25% by the end of 2025. That's the good news. The bad news is we still haven't felt the full impact of all those rate hikes. For months now, Canada's GDP growth has flatlined. Households squeezed by inflation and higher borrowing costs spent less. Even record levels of immigration couldn't boost growth beyond the anemic levels we saw this year. And the worst has yet to come. In 2023, only a fraction of existing mortgage holders renewed at higher rates. CMHC says another 2.2 million mortgages are set to renew over the next 2 years.
There's a wall of mortgage renewals that this economy is about to hit, and going into 2025, it's only going to get worse.
In a lot of ways, 2023 and 2024 will be mirror images of each other. Last year was dominated by a cost of living crisis and a slowing economy. We may have avoided a technical recession, but good luck telling that to anyone. Ask your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues. Many, if not most, are convinced we're in a recession right now.
We've just had one of the biggest declines in inflation that we've ever seen without a full-on recession. That's great news. Now, can we get it the rest of the way down to 2% without much pain? That's still the big question for 2024.
There's a real risk the economy will slip into a recession as the lagging impact of all of those rate hikes piles up, which leads us to one last thing to watch. We love to think we know what's coming next, but we live in a world awash in uncertainty. Wars are raging in Europe and the Middle East. Global trade deals are being threatened by those vowing to go it alone. And if we've learned anything in these last tumultuous years, it's that Canada is never immune to the winds of global forces when they blow this way.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC Vancouver inbox. Enjoy groundbreaking contemporary works of theatre, dance, music, and multimedia at the annual Push International Performing Arts Festival, January 19th to February 4th. For the festival program and tickets, visit pushfestival.ca. And never miss a special programming series, event, or contest. Subscribe to CBC Vancouver's e-newsletter at cbc.ca/Vancouver inbox and keep connected with us.
Well, there are a lot of ways to look back and reflect on the year that was. One of them is through Vancouver's most viral social media moments. Yesterday, the CBC's Maurice Katz gave Amy Bell the breakdown on BC Today. Take a look.
On our TikTok, actually garnered 6.5 million views. So we're talking about worldwide viral. This was when a prominent hip-hop artist in Canada, Drake, was scheduled to come to Vancouver, and for his first of 2 concerts, he canceled 2 hours before the show started.
That he did.
And understandably, Vancouverites were quite upset. Let's take a listen.
Yeah.
I'm very sad. Been here since 6:30 in the morning, so yeah, I'm upset.
I planned this months in advance. My car, my B&B, everything was months in advance. I saved a lot of money. And we got here, and we were so happy about it, and just 2 hours before it's supposed to happen, they give us an excuse that the stage wasn't finished.
So the comments are filled with Drake song lyric puns.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm upset being the biggest
number
one. And one of the top comments also was that Taylor Swift would never.
Well, Taylor would never, but okay, now that you've mentioned Taylor Swift, I have a feeling that I know what the next viral moment is going to be.
Yeah.
Ms. Swift, it's David Eby, Premier of British Columbia. I'm not accustomed to begging, but for my own constituency of my loving and beautiful wife and my son, Ezra, please come to Vancouver, British Columbia. We'll treat you well.
Well, and then thanks to Evie, or maybe not thanks to Evie, Taylor did announce a concert here in Vancouver, and that started the race to find tickets.
Oh, and that was huge. It's Taylor's taken over. What's another pick for top viral Vancouver moment?
This user went out of his way to create a little art project for himself and took some pictures. He made a miniature version of the blue fence, a miniature version of that redevelopment application around those little gnome houses.
Goodness.
Obviously, this blew up. People loved it. And my favorite touch of the whole thing is that he even put a little piece of graffiti on the redevelopment application, just like they do in real life.
In the theme of favorite social media moments, on yesterday's early edition with Stephen Quinn, the team behind the scenes got together to talk about their favorite viral memes of the year. Here they are.
So that was my favorite meme of the year. She is laughing nervously and kind of saying like, yeah, like, oh, I guess this happened. I guess I relate to it, maybe. I laugh nervously and promise things, maybe. And I just think it works for everything. It's so funny.
This is my meal. I call this girl dinner.
Girl dinner. A TikToker just released a picture of like some cheese and some crackers and some grapes and pickles and called it girl dinner. And suddenly, everybody in the world started sharing, I've been eating girl dinner for years. That you don't have to go home and make some big fancy meat and potatoes dinner. In fact, I'm not even that hungry. I think it just freed up a lot of people who were already doing this, but didn't know it was okay because we're all so judgy of our own selves and lives. So girl dinner is my favorite meme of 2023.
I'm proud of you. You made a lot of progress. I know it hasn't been easy, but you're doing more than you realize.
That was Anthony Vincent Official. He's singing, as you could hear, some pretty intense metal, but the lyrics are really uplifting and nice. It says, I'm proud of you, you've made a lot of progress. I know it hasn't been easy, but you're doing more than you realize. I'm proud of you.
So my favorite meme was actually sort of a thematic compilation of multiple memes, all of them focused on the rising up of orcas, primarily starting with them taking down luxury yachts. And I feel like, we're all the orcas some days. And there's a lot going on in the world that some of us would like to rise up and rebel against. So for me, sort of the triumphant evolution of orca hate against capitalism felt righteous and groovy.
My favorite meme of the year is kind of obscure, but I'm a dog owner and love to make fun of the fact that me and many dog owners take pictures of our dogs doing silly things and looking at them constantly. And so this meme was a guy who discovered his dog sleeping on a pillow, took a picture, and then becomes addicted to looking at the picture over and over and over all day and crying or smiling, which is basically how it is.
So this one is an Instagram reel. It's a person showing their dogs in various crocheted hats that they have made for them, and it's quite there's a lot there. I'm just looking at them now. There's radishes, rainbow, a Mardi Gras palm hat, cranberries, a chick, oranges. It just goes on and on and on. And what I love about this meme is just the fact that this person has managed to make so many hats for their dogs. And when I come home and it's late and I'm tired, I just want to see a dog in a crocheted hat.
Definitely had some funny moments in 2023. That is your late news for this Saturday. Thank you so much for watching. For news anytime, visit our website, cbc.ca/BC. Your next local news is on CBC Radio 1. That starts tomorrow morning at 6:30. From all of us here at CBC Vancouver, I'd like to wish you a very happy and safe New Year's Eve. See you in 2024.